With roots seated deep in the rich history of Greek mythology, God of War deftly fuses puzzle-solving ability with robust combat and frenetic action, and a brutal yet absorbing tale of destruction and redemption.
God of War begins with Kratos, who has climbed to the top of the highest mountain in Athens in ancient Greece, and he has this line. He says, "Not even the gods of Olympus can save me now." And with that, he takes a step and he throws himself off the mountain, and right before he hits the ground, we flash back 3 weeks before, and that's really the game that you play.
When bringing God of War to life, the development team went back to their childhoods, where their passion for storytelling and Greek myths began.
Creative director Dave Jaffe came up to me and goes, "What do you think about Greek mythology?" I was immediately intrigued by it because there's a lot of monsters that everybody already knows who they are, and I wanted to play a game that I wanted to be able to rip Medusa's head off and turn people to stone, and I wanted to fight Cyclopses.
When they said, "Hey, we're thinking about Greek mythology for God of War," I was like, yeah, let's definitely do that. It's something that's been a passion of mine for a long time, and I know a lot of other random Greek mythology tidbits and elements that have proved pretty useful during the development process.
With such an incredible and revered history to draw from, the team was able to extrapolate their own unique anti-hero as timeless as anything Homer could have conjured up.
Kratos was a warrior in the Spartan army, and there was this one battle, and Kratos is there. He's about to just get killed by the barbarian king, and he calls out to Ares, the god of war, and says, "Make me this great warrior, save my men, save me, and my soul is yours." And Ares gives Kratos these blades that are attached to these chains, and he's now bound to these blades called the Blades of Chaos forever.
These chains are as menacing as the warrior wielding them, but they aren't the only way to effectively dispatch your enemies.
Initially, they were kind of in the air about where they wanted to go with the look of the weapons. They didn't want it to be too fluid and too nice and too dainty. So they wanted it to be more brutal and more aggressive, but it's really difficult when he's swinging things around and not feel like a very choreographed fight scene. So we kind of found that middle ground.
The combat system really comes to life when the player customizes their attack combos with a stunning variety of mythical weaponry.
You've got all kinds of really cool gadgets and weapons like the Medusa head, the Zeus thunderbolts. You can raise the dead from Hades to come up and fight by your side.
You know, you can dash, pop a guy up in the air, use the Medusa head. He falls down and shatters. You get extra points for that. So it's really giving the player a palette to work with and let them be the artist.
In its quest to appeal to slightly more mature gamers, God of War places a strategic emphasis on puzzles that require more thinking than most games of the action-adventure genre.
Most games today, the puzzle is pull the lever, the door opens, or find the key, put the red key in the red door, and it's just like, you've got to be kidding me. It's like, I was so excited to bring real puzzles back to this genre.
There are a lot of different ways to approach any given situation in God of War. You could be confronted with something that seems sort of insurmountable just by going in there and doing the combat, but if you think about it a little bit, there are resources made available to you in the level that'll allow you to get around that situation a little bit easier.
God of War is one of the most graphically impressive games ever created for the PlayStation 2, with stunning environments that are as vast as they are intricately detailed.
I'm always the guy that the engineers want to strangle because I try to absolutely push this engine to the max. In the opening level of the Hydra, we've got thousands of particles that are on screen. I wanted to have reflective surfaces that look like puddles where when the player walks through you can see his reflection. I wanted to have tons of geometry. I wanted to have wood splattering everywhere. I wanted to have 30 guys on screen. That's what we wanted to accomplish, something that was just visceral and massive.
All that kind of stuff is a programmer's nightmare, basically, because you have to kind of make sure that your engine runs as fast as it possibly can in every different scenario that the designers and artists have managed to create while building the game, and that's kind of a big challenge. So what we've done is just be very careful to make sure that all of our tools allow us to give good instruction to the artists and designers and how each of the different scenes in the game can be made to run as fast as they possibly can.
Plus you've got like all this fog in the background, and one wanted fog coming off of the water, particles spraying over the mass. We wanted the first level of God of War just to be something that, you know, it's going to make you want to play the rest of the game.
The producers know that the key to a great game is to engage the player at an emotional level, and God of War aims to do just that.
I think anytime you make a game, you set out to try to make emotion in the game. That when the player is playing the game, he feels emotion. And if it's gripping the controller tighter, if it's having to put it down and walk away because your heart's pounding, if it's just that you're having so much fun that you forget to go to sleep, or you're late for your job because you're trying to solve a puzzle. I mean, that's what we wanted to create.
By utilizing the stories from our ancient past, God of War delivers the cutting-edge game of the future and what's sure to become a classic. But there's more to this game than meets the eye, and additional secrets will be revealed next month.
This is the game not only that I wanted to make 3 years ago, this is the game I've wanted since I was a 10-year-old kid, and I finally got to make it, and I'm so grateful, and I think players are going to be grateful too, because it's going to be cool.